All right, welcome back to Flag Talks, the podcast, episode 235. Today on the show, well, we really caught them this time. The USAID spending is criminal. We're going to go over all the highlights and all the numbers. Then, the FBI and CIA are on their way to being disbanded. We're going to tell you why that's a great thing. Then in Cringe of the Week, all of the children in Cynthia Nixon's life are turning transgender. We're going to tell you how. And last but not least, in Urban Decay, I asked the question at the top of everyone's mind. What were Jasmine Crockett's SAT scores? All this and more, it's Fleckus Talks the Podcast, episode 235, ranked the best news podcast of all time!
Because words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words. But at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool. Very cool.
It's Fleckus Talks the Podcast featuring Richard Grab.
All right, 1 for 1 on the intro, as always. Guys, our country just witnessed Donald Trump overcome political persecution, an assassination attempt, and the entire deep state in order to regain the presidency in a historic victory. There's one secret ingredient that allowed Trump to do all of this, and that is testosterone. What most people don't realize is testosterone makes men willing and eager to take on challenges, but sadly, too many of us have lost our fight, and that's exactly how the globalists want us. They want us weak, out of shape, and full of microplastics and estrogen with low T. That's why we've decided to partner with Chalk. Chalk offers a whole lineup of products formulated to increase your energy, focus, detoxify your body, and clinically studied boost your testosterone. Ingredients in the Chalk Male Vitality Stack have been clinically studied to boost free testosterone by 87% in just 21 days. Unlike the gimmicky vegetable pills or powder, you will feel the difference, and they have the clinical studies to back it up. And right now, you can get 25% off of your Chalk subscription for life. Just go to chalk.com, CHOQ.com, and use promo code FLECKUS. And the best part, you can cancel easily at any time. Chalk is made in America, and their all-American customer service team is standing by and ready to assist you. Let's make male vitality great again. Get your Chalk today. CHOQ.com is the website, promo code FLECKUS, and you could also call them at 50-CHALK-3000. Everything is linked in the description. Thank you to Chalk for sponsoring. Let's get into housekeeping. All right, thank you to Chalk for sponsoring.
Thank you, Chalk.
Thank you, Chalk. All because of you. All right, we have a very packed show. Happy Friday, Richard.
Thank you.
Friday episode. You guys know what that means.
Same as always.
The weekend's coming, though, and that feels good.
Yep.
Obviously, we have a packed housekeeping with all the politics stuff. It's probably going to run long today, but that's how it is. I think we should jump right into it.
Cool.
To not waste any time. First things first, does anyone else have a stomach bug or know someone who has a stomach bug? It feels like it's going around and everyone's sick.
Yeah.
And then Elijah had a tweet about it too. Can you read that?
Elijah said, I got food poisoning again. This time, much more painful. I think it was some chicken cooked at the airport by scholars. The nurse who came and gave me an IV in my hotel room said there's been a massive uptick in food poisoning call-ins.
So massive uptick, that's what I'm noticing too. Maybe it's normal flu season stuff, but in my whole life, I don't remember everyone having diarrhea at the same time like this.
I didn't know you were going to say diarrhea like that. That's pretty disgusting. Until you said diarrhea, this is also like coworker talk. This is like, oh, there's a bug going around. Oh, yeah, Jan got it. Jan in accounting got it. So I don't know what your point is with this, but you've been sick.
I've been sick. I know people are sick. Elijah's sick.
Okay.
There's something going around. And it seems a little weird.
Catch the game last night?
Yeah.
That's the kind of talk this is. So
there's a bug going around.
That's what we're starting off with.
All right, well, let's get into a better story. The CIA has been offered buyouts to its entire workforce.
Yeah, it tells employees that they can quit their jobs and receive about 8 months' pay and benefits. Same thing that was offered to general federal employees.
Good.
And I think that general federal employees one is like the deadline was last night, and a judge is trying to block it too. So there's some fights going on, but we want people to leave is the vibe.
Yeah, we're running a little heavy. We need to cut some of the fat.
Can't take off with this much fuel.
And then the judges are obviously trying to delay that. They're also trying to delay Kash Patel's getting voted in, his confirmation. That'll be next week. Yep. But then I found this picture of the CIA guys working in the fields, those jobs that no one wants. They can do that.
Yeah, they can pick strawberries that are kind of loosely also turned into raspberries by AI.
Yeah, with 6 fingers.
Yeah, that's perfect for them.
Different kind of field agent. Yep. Okay. Let's get to some of the politics stuff. AOC had a lot to say. We're obviously going to get into the USAID stuff and all the Elon stuff and Doge. But let's start with AOC talking about Elon.
This dude is probably one of the most unintelligent billionaires I have ever met or seen or witnessed. Which, you can probably even glean that from watching these people on TV.
Oh, so the interplanetary rocket scientist, brain chip guy, richest man in the world is stupid and you're a bartender.
Tony Stark, self-driving cars, he's trying to put chips in people's brain. I don't necessarily agree with it, but, obviously you got to have something to do that.
You get called dumb by a bartender.
And then AOC, what does she have to do? Every 2 years, she has to convince minority voters in the Bronx that she's working hard for them.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the extent of her. And then she kind of gets up and does the voice-changing socialist chants. Mm-hmm. Doesn't really have to do anything. No results needed. But Elon's obviously the focus of a lot of leftist hate and protests.
Yeah, she's not even good at what she does. If she was the best at what she does and she was an equivalent in calling out Elon, okay.
Yeah. Another brilliant piece of legislation from AOC. She doesn't get anything passed.
Yeah, she does nothing. And one of the reasons she thinks Elon is so stupid is because he wants to get rid of the Department of Education, which I think would be a great idea because everyone's less educated now than ever. Yeah. And we have some graphs here about what the Department of Education really is doing.
Yeah, President Trump, that's where he wants to send Doge and kind of reduce spending, and he wants to return it to the states. That's his end goal. But he's calling for an overhaul of the DOE. The department has spent $1 trillion since its creation in 1979, yet student performance remains stagnant or declining. And the chart here just is billions of dollars spent and then math and reading scores. Math and reading scores relatively flat, and then the billions keep coming, right?
Yep, and then they also created an administrative state with that as well, with all the money. So there's a lot more administrators. That's the red line there, up 88% since 2000.
Yeah, and I think we've shown this exact chart on the show in some other context, but this is kind of happening with universities, public schools, every kind of institution where you can milk a do-nothing job, a DEI job out of. And, we're not getting great scores. And this is 88% increase in administrative staff, 37% assistants and principals and assistant principals, teachers up about 8%, and then during that time, students have gone up 8%. So it's obviously disproportionate. And when people talk about late stage capitalism, leftists like to say that phrase, this is kind of a version of that. Late stage bureaucratic bloat,
Exactly. And everyone's stupider than ever. We've seen the Justin Awad videos. The kids don't know what century they're in or what continent they're on.
Yeah.
And we actually have a product of the Department of Education in this next video. This girl, I think, is 27, and she works a corporate job. And listen to what she says.
I'm 27 years old in a corporate job, and I do not know how to spell. Okay? Because I'm from the generation where I'm in 5th grade, and I had a laptop with spell check on it. That's ridiculous. So now I'm 27 years old, listening to podcasts on how to sound out words.
Literally can't spell.
She's whispering in her job that she can't spell, and she should be whispering.
Your boss over here is, what were you saying?
Yeah.
What was that? No, nothing. I can't spell. I think I have COVID.
Yeah. You got to go home.
Okay,
and
I will.
I don't know what happens to someone like this. I mean, this kind of person is very strange to me because it's someone who, for 27 years up until now, never really had curiosity, never felt ashamed by not knowing something or getting something wrong. For me, if I get something wrong, I go, okay, I better go look that up and then make sure I don't do it again. That was embarrassing.
You have a desire to learn.
These people don't care And I don't know if well, let's blame it on the Department of Education while we're here.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it's like similar to people that take steroids or something. It's like, oh yeah, like you have spell check in 5th grade and that makes it easy, but then you're like reliant on that and then you don't do anything yourself and it actually will maybe ruin your life.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next section, which is about January 6th. We found out how much of the FBI was dedicated to investigating and getting people in trouble for January 6th. Can you read that?
Yeah, the FBI just revealed that 5,000 out of their 13,000 agents were focused on January 6th protesters, and that's 39% of the entire FBI workforce.
39% of the whole workforce, and we're playing in the background here what January 6th looked like. And I'm assuming the rest of the workforce was focused on like the school board moms and then churches not obeying COVID rules.
Yeah, abortion clinic protests that were completely nonviolent.
Yeah, exactly.
Intimidating citizens and kind of convincing them you needed to talk to the FBI, but when they didn't have a case. So FBI trust all-time low, and to find out that they put so much of their energy into it is actually insane.
And we have a couple points here. Someone said FBI agent Baker Doherty was in the crowd at the Capitol, and he entered the government alleged restricted area, then went to conduct SWAT raids on January 6ers who did the same thing.
So he participated, and then he raided, and he's one of the 5,000.
He gets to your house and goes, "Can't believe you did that."
Yeah.
And then can you read this meme? I thought it was pretty good.
5 months of violent riots, arson, terror, destruction, chaos, looting, murder. Obviously, that was the BLM Summer of Love. And then FBI doesn't have any interest in that. And then 100 boomers taking selfies in the Capitol for like an hour. That's what they want to focus on.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have some of the old people here. You have this old woman in an ankle monitor, and then you have the granny with the American flag. That was the threat to democracy.
And this, obviously, it's a huge number, but it's kind of a proxy for how left-leaning it is, right? Because if you're going to have 5,000 agents on the thing that the right believes, yeah, it was a bad look, but it didn't really matter, and then the left is saying this is an insurrection, this is treason, this is this, then it's kind of a reflection of the rank and file, like what they're up to, which way they lean.
Exactly. And then a lot of times people say, oh, it's from the top down, they're just taking orders, rank and file are good guys. I'm sure there are good guys, but when it's that many and you're working on that, and then you say, yeah, I don't agree with this, but I'm just going to do it because I don't want to lose my job. Fuck you for that.
Yeah, it gets a little greasy. I'm certainly not going to give everyone grace,
Yeah.
It's not really the time for that. It's revenge season.
It's revenge season, and you made your bed, and it's time to go to sleep in it.
Get tucked in.
Get tucked into the bed you made. All right, which takes us to the story of the day, the story of the week, maybe even the story of Trump's second term.
Yeah.
Trump's first month. Basically, USAID has been exposed as like the biggest money laundering leftist scheme that's been used on us and also around the world for years.
I would describe it as a leftist ideology patronage network. It's
Yeah.
just giving, it's spreading leftist ideology, it's gaslighting people, and they're paying a lot of fat salaries to people who are sympathetic and then cycle that back into the Democratic machine, right?
It's really, really sick shit. And we're going to go over all of the egregious spending. We're going to speed round kind of through it because I'm sure you guys have seen it, but we're going to recap everything. Can you give that first post a read?
Yeah, this is Senator Joni Ernst details some of the insane spending from USAID. $2 million for Moroccan pottery classes, $2 million promoting tourism to Lebanon. Did you hear anything about that? Anybody try to get you to go to Lebanon?
Didn't even know. They were
Didn't
giving
even
out
reach
trips.
the right audience. He was ready to go. $20 million for a Sesame Street show in Iraq, sending Ukrainians to Paris for Fashion Week. That's very important. $9 million to feed Syrians ended up in terrorist hands. $1 million for risky research in Wuhan lab.
And then,
We're going over this again because we obviously talked about some of the tip of the spear when they were first justifying it, but now it's like everybody online, every anonymous right-wing account is frantically researching and trying to one-up each other on how horrible this shit is, right?
exactly. And this is where it gets even worse because that's all like social programs and like, oh, it's good to have Sesame Street in Lebanon or whatever. This is where it gets dark and illegal, more illegal. Can you read that?
USAID was funding over 6,200 journalists across 707 media outlets and 279 media NGOs, including 9 out of 10 media outlets in Ukraine.
And obviously one of them was Politico. We're going to get into that. So for Politico, they gave over $8 million over a few years, and then they gave over $500,000 yearly in 37 subscriptions. Is that correct?
Yeah, for some sort of premium Politico access where you get the editor's notes and commentary. That's $500,000 for 37 people.
So they're just keeping Politico afloat. And then once the money was stopped, Politico actually had problems paying their payroll.
Yeah. And we don't know. We're not going to say, it could be a coincidence, but it doesn't look great for Politico.
Doesn't look great. And we also found out that NASA is giving money to Politico as well.
Yeah, NASA spent $500,000 on Politico subscriptions as well, and then the NASA leadership verified that they canceled that. So that's what I mean by like patronage network. It's like, oh, we'll write puff pieces about NASA. You got to pay our fucking subscriptions, though. It's some mafia shit, leftist mafia.
Exactly. And then this also, keep in mind, this is how they do their color revolutions in other countries as well. Like they did it in Ukraine and like 10 years ago. They're basically doing it to us now and have been doing it to us now, where they have our taxpayer dollars paying for their own propaganda, and it all seems like it's natural, organic content, but the whole time it's on a foundation of sand. It was all just made up and lies.
Yeah, it's smoke and mirrors. And then it also felt like we were up against so much. Who are these people writing these dumb articles? Nobody believes this, right? Yeah. And then like it turns out, nobody did. They were just kind of like getting paid and had to do it. And then you kind of see a couple people on Twitter. You're like, I know that guy's real. That guy made a video about it. And so like they only need to have like a couple of those type of henchmen to convince you there's more people who agree with this than not, right?
Exactly. And then when you look at the type of people that are working at Politico receiving this money, it starts to make more sense. Can you go over this section?
Yeah, this was we covered this on the show, and this is what Raheem pointed out, which is he was reading Politico's playbook, and he said it had been sounding less newsy and more bitchy for a while. So I looked up its relatively new lead author, Eugene Daniels, and it's this guy. Him and his husband.
Married to a man. And he's wearing a girl's outfit.
He loves the girl's outfit. So this is, you paid this guy's salary in part, right?
Yep.
So disgusting, has to go. And he loves this crouching down little bitchy look.
Yeah.
He's a twink.
He's a little twink. And obviously he would never write in real life in like a capitalism market or like in a meritocracy market where everyone's got to write good and then people read it.
Yeah. He has to be subsidized.
He has to be subsidized and completely propped up. Mm-hmm. And then that's what this next tweet sums up, which I thought was like the entirety of this whole issue.
Yeah, what we're finding out in real time is the entire modern left is just smoke and mirrors. There's no left-wing voter base. All the elections are rigged and fake. All the liberal media outlets have no audience and are kept alive by USAID funding. All their politicians and political pundits are paid by USAID to say what the government wants. The whole thing was a house of cards.
The whole time, and it's all taxpayer dollars. And then if you think about it...
Like plumbers. Think about what a taxpayer is. Roofer, plumber, an accountant. These people are paying to subvert the country.
And then you pay like with all the taxes and not just income tax, but all the other taxes, state tax and everything, you end up paying like half your salary.
A lot.
In taxes. So that means if you're a plumber and you go work 300 days in the year, 150 of those days were just to write gay Politico articles.
Straight to that political twink. And then he cycles it back in too.
Half the time you spent at work was just for your taxes so they can give it away for transgenders to stop vaping in Lebanon.
And we'll get to that. That's a real, you were close.
I combined a few.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Think about all the time away from your family just to make ends meet. Everyone can't afford mortgages. Health insurance is so crazy. Inflation's killing us. That's another thing. So you're getting taxed in real life and then the invisible tax of inflation. And you're right here with the little bit of money you have left. And then all the money that you pay is just getting given away to Haiti, for example.
Yeah.
And then Haiti gets all the money. They get $2 billion, and then only 2% actually goes to Haiti.
Yeah.
They just give it away to all Hillary Clinton's friends. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Let's go on to our next one. There's an Afghanistan gas station.
Yeah, there's a gas station that the Department of Defense spent $43 million on in Afghanistan that had no customers. So,
oops.
That's just another example. Let's speed round that. We don't want to get too into it. It was like liquid natural gas or some sort of specific natural gas, and then the only people who used it were the 120 Afghans that the U.S. paid to convert their cars, compressed natural gas.
Yeah.
So that's 43 million. Plumbers, janitors,
Getting your hands dirty.
All you guys fucking paid for that, right?
Missed your kid's baseball game so you can pay your taxes, and then they pay for this. Another one, the one we just mentioned, $4 billion to Haiti, but Haiti only got 2% of it.
Yeah, the U.S. government has dispersed some $4.4 billion in foreign assistance to the tiny Caribbean nation. At least $1.5 billion was dispersed for immediate humanitarian assistance, while just under $3 billion has gone toward recovery, reconstruction, and development. But here's the important part. Since 2010, USAID has dispersed at least $2.13 billion in contracts and grants for Haiti-related work. Overall, just $48.6 million has gone directly to Haitian organizations or firms, just over 2%. Comparatively, more than $1.2 billion has gone to firms located in D.C., Maryland, or Virginia.
So just give your money away to people who have a fake job and they pretend to help.
And then not only are they giving your money away, but like the same thing we said for the Department of Education with all those administrators and bloat and middlemen. This is kind of one of the more important parts of the USAID broader picture is that all this money is also sustaining an entire like snobby leftist class of people that run nonprofits and 501c3s and stupid organizations in the Washington, D.C. metro area.
And they pay themselves hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And they think they're better than us.
Exactly. So it's like tax dollars getting funneled to charity, which is a weird thing because it's like, oh, I'm a charitable organization. It's like, then shouldn't you rely on like the goodness of people's hearts and not the taxpayers? You know? If a taxpayer gives charity, is it really charity, or did just your buddy in the government hook you up with a blank check?
I think it's that one.
Yeah.
And then next, another scam, I believe. Are we at the AIDS section now? Mm-hmm. So AIDS, everyone thinks, oh, AIDS is so bad, we got to help.
AIDS, the disease you get from sharing needles or having gay sex. For the most part.
Huge priority.
And then Politico will go, well, no, you could actually get it from blah, blah, blah. But we know what it is, right? We know the score.
And then here's what we're spending our AIDS money on. $40 million for AIDS drugs for transgender prostitutes in South Africa.
Imagine the bill for the non-transgender prostitutes in South Africa.
Gotta be 10x more, right?
$90 million for USAID for HIV in San Francisco. That's just a quick screenshot there. And again, this is one of those things, like we've talked about how much San Francisco and other places spend on homelessness, and that goes to cushy salaries for people who are like the lesbian outreach director for homelessness. Again, it's bloat. It's all drained to bloat and middlemen and crappy salaries. And then not only high salaries, but salaries where results don't matter. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that lady, I think we featured her on the show before. She was making almost $500K or something ballpark like that for homelessness in San Francisco. And then homelessness got worse
by a lot.
So it's really nothing. There's no
but she works for a nonprofit, but she's profiting.
Exactly. Exactly.
Then we have hundreds of millions of dollars for HIV in Ukraine. I'm sure that's accounted for. I'm sure we're helping a lot of people there.
A lot of Ukrainian stuff.
Yeah. And
Here are some of the more horrible ones.
Yep.
This was the one you kind of half referenced. This is a $3 million grant. The project was for social media anti-vaping messages to reduce end use among sexual and gender minority teens. So they weren't just targeting vaping to end teenage vaping. They wanted it specifically for minorities and then gay people.
Yeah, that's who matters.
Another one, this was $17.98 million to provide academic year exchanges for approximately 800 high school students from countries with significant Muslim populations to the U.S.
That way we can get a pipeline so they can keep coming.
Yeah, and then, they break off. They form their little cells. Then the FBI, they're busy with the January 6th protesters. So,
And then you have USAID funding ISIS.
Yeah.
Which is literally the next picture.
The Taliban, ISIS, I don't know who that is, but he's holding a rocket launcher as if he's
going like that.
Yeah.
And then we have here, this is where it gets interesting. So those are all the horrible line items that are just completely flagrant.
Yeah.
And then you have $4.2 billion in total grants to miscellaneous foreign awardees.
Yeah.
Some people that, we gave $4.2 billion to a few people.
Yeah. And then sometimes they name the country, but no names and addresses. And we brought this up last episode, miscellaneous. There should never be a miscellaneous or unknown line item in any government budget. Like, we need total transparency, right?
And then in the next one, we have 460 million in what's the word they use?
Redacted.
Redacted. So just people. We're not going to tell you who, but 460 million to some important people. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. And then it gets really dark when I mentioned before about how this is like the color war revolution stuff and how they get their propaganda out there to overthrow people and regimes. This is what they did in our own country.
You have this new piece on Substack that the USAID and the CIA helped orchestrate Trump's impeachment.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse, it's a crazy story. I mean, you might forget that, the House of Representatives impeached President Trump in December of 2019. Many people may not remember that it was a CIA analyst who was left over from the Obama White House who wrote the memo that led to the impeachment. It was all based on hearsay. The person had not actually been in the room with Trump. Nonetheless, this memo that he wrote relied heavily on a report done by an organization funded by USAID. In fact, its initial founding funding, I mean, now it's tens of millions of dollars, had gone into this group called the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, a name that's not very memorable, OCCRP, but it was basically created as an extension of the State Department and then of USAID.
So USAID paid to impeach Trump.
That's the final straw. You're all fired, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we caught him, and that's the best part about this, obviously, is the transparency.
Yeah. And it's a little weird because we've known about a lot of these things, and I guess when we've been covering them over the past couple of years, we haven't had the power, we haven't had the executive branch. But this is like Rand Paul doing his Festivus reporting, right? Mm-hmm. At the end of every Christmas, he does the Festivus reporting on here's where we gave cocaine to shrimp in Brazil, right? And this is the first time there's actually been anything done about it.
Yeah,
so it's uplifting. It's like
it hurts in a good way.
Yeah, never
it's like
again.
After a big workout or something.
Exactly.
You broke some things down, but you're going to come back stronger. Next is a Cernovich tweet that we kind of touched on before, executive salaries for charity organizations.
And I'm pretty sure this was the Catholic Charities, the NGO that was importing all the migrants, who was helping facilitate the migrants. $600,000 plus in total compensation for one of the high-ups, $400K salary, $375K salary between salary and then their benefits. And all of these nonprofit type places are paying out like a rookie NFL contract.
Yeah.
For multiple people. And again, results not necessarily guaranteed in any of those, but that's one of the things I want to come across in this podcast more than ever is we're supporting an entire class of like people in the DMV, like the DC metro area, who are just like arrogant leftists who have to go along with the leftist talking points because they're making $600K a year. They really want to keep that pig pie train going.
So they're getting literally paid off, and then the $600K a year you're getting paid is for a charity you work at, and then that charity is responsible for bringing in third world illegals to our country by the millions.
Yeah.
That's the job.
Really backwards.
And then also I heard George Soros got over $200 million, which is crazy. And then next we have a tweet here that was retweeted by his son, Alex Soros. Chuck Schumer, can you read what he said?
He said, an unelected shadow government is conducting a hostile takeover of the federal government.
Hostile takeover, is that the same thing as doing a line-by-line audit of taxpayer dollars that were already spent?
Saying, don't need this, don't need that. And it's so funny.
It's already spent.
Yeah.
It's like it's your guys' budget from the last few years. Taxpayer dollars audited. It's an audit. It's like the opposite of a hostile takeover. A hostile takeover would be like, we're spending what we want. We're not going to tell you what we're spending it on. You'll just find out after.
Well, that's the next leg of this parlay is taking that entire budget and spending it to fund right-wing think tanks in Serbia or something.
Yeah.
That's what some people want. I don't want it. I just want to stop the spending. But
And there was a good meme that came out. So the same people terrified of Doge wanted to hire 87,000 additional IRS agents to audit you. Remember that?
Yeah.
They wanted to even squeeze us more.
$600 Venmo transactions. There's a dark timeline. There's a very, very dark timeline out there where Kamala is president and the USAID budget doubles, you know.
They were getting all those IRS agents to audit us even more, to squeeze us for more money. and they are spending the money on this. Then Chuck Schumer had this to say about the whole process.
Also know this is just the beginning. If Doge attacks USAID today, then you can be sure they'll move on to another target tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe it'll be the Postal Service or the IRS or even the Social Security Administration. They could be next. Or maybe our national security agencies.
Yeah, I hope so.
Any trans, anti-vaping advertisements in any of those departments you just listed? Because, we need to, right?
Yeah, I really hope that's what's next. And then there's some funny posts that are happening. I saw this one that said, if Trump is going to get rid of all these federal agencies, why are we even paying taxes anymore? Exactly.
That's the next leg of the parlay.
That's the next leg of the parlay. And we actually do have there was an announcement yesterday of some tax breaks that are coming. It wasn't anything crazy, but can you read kind of what the first wave of them are?
This is the plan, and this is what Trump has kind of been campaigning on. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security for seniors, no tax on overtime, renew Trump's old tax cuts, adjusting the SALT cap, ending tax breaks for billionaire sports team owners, closing the carried interest loophole, tax cuts for Made in America projects, and that's it.
So that's there's some relief. I think there is a world where after we get all this transparency and people see how much money was wasted and how much of their time was wasted to pay for this, that maybe at the end, Trump could do some sort of no income tax if the tariffs go good.
Yeah.
Imagine that at the end. Imagine showing everyone everything. The right wing is going to be against the USAID stuff. Normal people from the left will be against it too. The crazies will keep supporting it. Chuck Schumer and George Soros and all the Muppets. And then at the end going, we're not doing income tax to give you guys a break because you've been getting ripped off for the last 30 years, 50 years or whatever. I think everyone's going to go, oh my God, this is great.
And then USAID, guys, remember, is like a little less than 1% of the entire budget, right? And so when we get to some of the bigger, more meaningful things, the defense budget, Medicare, Medicaid fraud, EBT, like entitlement fraud, like wherever that's leaking out. We've shown on the show before people like an empty office in Miami where a guy's billing $40 million a year in Medicaid. And then the phone just rings and it's empty. It's in a shitty strip mall. You know what I mean? So like there's going to be mechanisms, and I want Doge to hit all these kind of larger, higher dollar amount structures.
Me too. There was a deep state post. I think the Heritage Foundation posted it. But it made sense, so we're going to read it.
Bill Kristol initially tweeted, the deep state is far preferable to the Trump state. And then Heritage Foundation said, the deep state is not a thing. 2, okay, the deep state is a thing, but it's not that significant. 3, okay, the deep state is significant, but it's actually a good thing. We're finally here. Number 4, if you're opposed to the deep state, you're the problem.
Yeah, that's what they're gaslighting us with now.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what reasonable right-wing people have been saying that for a long time, is it's a bureaucratic bloat. It's a bunch of people who are in these positions, in these groups that donate 97% towards Democrats, for example. So what are they going to do? They're going to drag their feet, resist, and kind of do the same thing throughout all presidents, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on to our next folder where we have Maxine Waters has a lot to say about this.
Yeah, people are really mad about the Doge and dismantling, and they're kind of acting out.
California! Hello, everybody. We have convened here in the right place, the Treasury Department. We have got to tell Elon Musk, nobody elected your ass. Nobody told you you could get all of our private information. Nobody told you you could be in charge of the payments of this country. We have told you you've made enough money off our government yourself. And now you
so no one voted for this. No one voted for Elon. Yes, we did. We were told this is exactly what he was going to do. He was going to create Doge, and we're going to have transparency, and we're going to go through all the fraudulent, wasteful spending. This is exactly what we voted for.
It was heavily advertised months before the election. I think even before the debates, It was one of the shining principles that we were going to cut waste.
Yeah.
And Maxine Waters yelling, yapping. She looks like shit, by the way.
Well, she's 86 years old.
Crazy.
So she looks good for 86. She's still got her, her hair's still dark.
That's real hair.
You think she'd have grays by now?
She's got some old granny head thing underneath, some black woman thing that I don't even know about.
Yeah.
But there was a clip of her, Schumer, and one other person who was also really old. And Chuck Schumer was like, this is about the future. And it's like an average age of 81 and a half.
And one of the guys had a cane.
Yeah.
And he was going like this. Yeah. And then speaking of too old, Mitch McConnell tried to talk about something, and this is how it went. Just go to fucking jail already.
Just go to fucking Boca Raton. I don't even need jail.
I need jail.
Boca Raton. Just fucking retire, everybody. And that's we're a balanced podcast. We hate everyone who's insanely elderly clinging on to power.
I would like jail and then him just to wake up every day and then kind of forget where he is and then remember, I'm in prison. Yeah. Oh man, that really got out of hand at the end there. I made some mistakes.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to happen.
Yeah. Maxine Waters, I would like that.
Yeah, me too. All right, next we're going to end the USAID bad spending on what I can't confirm this, but this looks like some sort of $86 million Indian pride parade that we paid for.
I am a lesbian. That's okay. I'm bisexual. That's okay. I'm transgender. That's okay. I am a Hydra. That's okay.
So that's $100 million.
It's a new boogeyman thing. Like USAID probably funded that for every stupid gay thing you can think of. And then think about what right-wingers have had to do. That's why I say patronage network. Because think about right-wingers have to get so fed up that like they start talking to their neighbors and then they go out and do something. These people are like, remember all the signs that would show up early in 2016 when it was the early resist movement? And then one of the things the protesters all had these like well-done picket signs.
Yeah.
And we'd be like, who the fuck is paying for this?
Yeah.
Probably USAID.
That's a good point.
But yeah, so organic versus completely propped up and stupid, that's what it's been for the past 8 years. And we're finally kind of dismantling that apparatus.
Exactly. All right, moving on. Before we get fully out of our USAID section, this woman was talking about her electric bill and the way it's formatted and why she's paying so much. And it's not USAID related, but it is under the umbrella of like wasteful, progressive, communist spending.
I'm going to show you the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. You ready? This is our electric bill for 1 month. We live in the beautiful state of Connecticut. Our total supply that we used for the month was $236.71. The transmission was $87.01. The local delivery, I don't know how the fuck they deliver it, but we have to pay for it. It's $175.16. And then we have a thing called public benefits. So this is the people who can't pay for their electric bill. And we pay for it. It's $227.76. So I am paying to keep somebody else's lights on.
So her bill of usage was like $237, and then the whatever they called it, the feel-good thing, the public benefit, public assistance, you're paying the same amount for someone else who can't pay for it.
And it's interesting. I just want to make the point. It's very interesting because it's annoying when you see it on your bill and stuff, but this is how all fucking taxes work. This is what the government does with your money behind your back. They immediately give it to some retarded person who can't fend for themselves. They charge you because they know you're productive. And $1,100 electricity bill, obviously it's February. They probably have electric heating, right? So the bill was high. It was January. It was cold in Connecticut. But that's like rent money. That's like I could have rented a place for that money 7 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They make him pay all that money. Make you drive a truck 6 days a week across the whole country back and forth.
And it pisses you off because you see it on the bill. Like, what? I'm paying for this guy? That's all taxes all the time. The plumber, what we were talking about, 150 days out of his year, he's working for the gay, people in Lebanon. That's it. That's taxes in a nutshell, right?
Makes you sick. It makes you feel like you have a food poisoning bug.
Yeah, there's a bug going around, huh?
Yeah, we were all just sick to our stomach from all this spending.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move on. The next two sections are the Israel-Gaza section, because there was that press conference earlier in the week, and then the migrant section.
All right.
We're going to go a little faster through this because we spent so much time on USAID. First of all, Trump met with Netanyahu, and then he talked about the U.S. taking over Gaza. At first, I was like, oh, great. Here we go with this Israel shit. It's fucking over.
5,000 miles away.
5,000 miles away and blah, blah, blah. And I got blackpilled for a second. But then I kind of realized that I shouldn't be fully black-pilled because we have so many other wins going on. And then also the Trump-Israel situation, it didn't feel like Netanyahu fully got what he wanted.
It didn't look like he liked it. He was kind of squirming in that press conference.
Like, we didn't just turn it over to Israel. We kind of like did an in-between thing where we said, all right, we'll control it and then we'll figure it out. So I wasn't happy about it at first, but then it was clarified that there would be no tax dollars going to it, no boots on the ground for it as well. And then Scott Adams had a tweet that kind of summed it up too, which I kind of agree with.
He said, I hate that sleeping on this changed my opinion. First reaction, hell no, I hate everything about this. Current opinion, Trump just ended a perma war between Hamas and Israel by informing them they will no longer have a common border one way or another. It's not a bluff, but it will have the effect of sharpening the thinking of everyone in the region. I'd expect some frantic counteroffers. In his inimitable way, Trump is generating new options in a land that had none, and he is doing it by presenting himself as the common enemy to both sides. Here, I am assuming Israel's government is choking on this idea too. The last thing I want is the USA owning Gaza, but if it's also the last thing all the countries in that region want, something productive could come out of it.
So that's kind of how I saw it too. It's easy to see that Trump Gaza stuff and go, oh, he's helping Israel. Like, believe me, I call it out when I see it, but I don't think Israel is fully happy with that. And then Netanyahu gave Trump a golden beeper as a gift, which I think is like a threat.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Did they blow up all those guys with those?
Yeah.
And then there was also, I found this video of a kind of anti-Trump Israeli rabbi guy who seems to have it figured out. Listen to what he says about it.
Trump is no friend of Israel at all. Yes, he recognized sovereignty on the Golan Heights. Yes, he acknowledged the fact that Jerusalem is the undivided capital of the state of Israel. But with Trump, his actions are always transactional. What he gives, you pay for. And what we were expected to pay for was a Palestinian state. People refuse to remember, if they actually knew about it at all, that part of the deal of the century was the creation of a Palestinian state, or a Fakistinian state, God forbid. Chas v'shalom.
So that's an interesting take about it where, you know, a lot of times you might look at it and think that he's just doing everything for Israel, but it is very transactional, and he hasn't really done anything that's without them paying for it.
Yeah, and we'll see. It's funny because we released the episode on Tuesday, and a big theme of that episode was people are getting proven wrong in 48 hours, and then we kind of established the let him cook rule.
Yeah.
So Trump, especially in international relations, does some wild things with negotiations and making claims and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to default to a let him cook scenario and not get too worried about it.
Yeah, let Trump cook. Don't get blackpilled. I don't think we're done yet. Maybe I'm wrong and Trump is the Antichrist and he's building the third temple and we're all fucked. Not there yet.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. But maybe, but I'm not there yet. Let Trump cook. I think it's going to play out okay.
For sure.
Let's get into our migrant section. The first clip, we're going to go fast through this, but the first clip, this guy's talking about all the money that was given to the NGOs to bring illegals here, and listen to how much and what time frame.
I'd like to ask Mr. Carroll and anybody else who would like to answer this. Can you name some of these NGOs that have specifically taken these hundreds of millions of dollars and not used it to protect these children?
Catholic Charities, Lutheran Family Services, Jewish Family Services. I spoke to a gentleman that works in DHS. He actually sends the electronic fund transfers, and I asked him, sir, tell me who do you send, who are you responsible for, and how much is the largest check you cut? He said, I'm over Jewish Family Services, and I cut a check for $600 million. And I said, is that for like 3 years? And he told me, JJ, get in the game. That's 2 or 3 months. And it's renewable.
2 or 3 months, $600 million, Jewish Family Services to bring in third world illegals here. So all your tax dollars on one hand go to writing twink articles about how Trump needs to be impeached and actually impeaching him, and all the propaganda for news sites that would never exist if they were having to compete in the free market. And then on the other hand, your tax dollars are going to bring third worlders here that make your life harder, your costs go up, your ability to buy a house or settle down or live in a nice neighborhood in a trusting community and have a family, that all goes down.
And then also another point to this. So a lot of this spending has been going on since, Obama era, even earlier. This sort of patronage network that's working against American interests. And imagine the opportunity cost. Like you're talking that's $600 million. We're talking billions and billions and billions of dollars every year. And imagine to go against American interest. Imagine if that swung for like baseball fields and like cool shit and then like hardening our border. You know what I mean? There's an alternate reality where it's not only are you not spending to make it worse, but you're actually spending it on things that are for American interests. That's like a $1 trillion swing.
It's a $1 trillion swing because for in this example, 600 million in 2 to 3 months, that could have been 600 million in another direction for good things or hardening the border. Crazy.
Exactly.
Good news in the short term, Pam Bondi ordered the Justice Department to freeze all funding for sanctuary cities and has instructed attorneys to begin prosecuting officials preventing ICE from doing their job. They're also going to be having them testify, which is great, and hopefully that solves some stuff.
Yeah, some judge in Hawaii is going to say, no, you can't do that, and we'll have to fight that out. But investigating the people preventing ICE from doing their job is a good, like, chilling factor. You see some Boston mayor, Michelle Wu type, get walked away in handcuffs, and you're going to shut the fuck up next time
That's
ICE
what
knocks.
we need. That's what we need. Yeah. All right, we're going to bang out the rest of this section. El Salvador offered to take our criminals and then just have like a huge prison state.
Wild.
Love that. And then the bad guys, the violent criminal aliens, are heading to Guantanamo and they're arriving.
Yeah.
That's great. The next one, Tren de Agua, that was taking over the apartment complexes in Colorado, they were tipped off by somebody who tipped off Tren de Agua.
That person needs to go to jail.
So
Guantanamo.
You tipped off Tren de Agua?
Yeah.
It's not like you told the lady at the grocery store who's got a kid in school. You tipped off Tren de Agua.
The fentanyl, prostitution, hotel takeover people, you tipped them off.
Those guys that had like the AK-47s in the hallway of the apartment complex. So you tip them off. So that person should go to jail. Tom Homan said they're actually going to probe into what happened there. And then we have a story here on the left. Can you give that a read?
Yeah, my neighbor is getting deported and she's trying to find a home for her pit bull because they're not allowed in her country. No comment.
Yeah, I know what you can do with it. Bury it in a hole.
You gotta get rid of it.
All right, well, that's the end of our migrant section. We're in the final page of housekeeping. Make sure you guys use the opportunity to tickle the post, help us juice the algo, leave a like, leave a comment again, and then start yapping about what you want to yap about. Notifications need to be on, PO box needs to be full, and old episodes need to be watched. That was a fast one. All right, our first topic in my page of housekeeping. I tried to watch Vanilla Sky with Tom Cruise the other day.
Which one is that? His face is all messed up. He's got like a fucked up
His face is messed up. He's got a mask. It's a dream. He's awake. He's dreaming that he's awake in his dream. Who cares?
Yeah. Call it quits. Wrap it up.
I was watching too much of nothing.
All right.
Do you know why I picked that movie? You know how I got there? I think you can get there.
You wanted dessert and you saw vanilla and you go, ooh, vanilla, that tastes good. And then you watch the movie.
Close.
What?
Kanye West at the Grammy with his naked girlfriend. Kanye West song, Feel Like Tom Cruise and Vanilla Sky. Ooh, Vanilla Sky. I wonder what that movie's all about. Watch. Stupid dream shit. Inception before Inception. Not even that good.
All right. That's fine.
All right. All right. Our next thing is very important information. You guys know I'm trying to bring you important information. It's a dense show full of information. Look what happens with this video. This guy videoed his house with LED lights in slow motion, and look what it looks like.
All right, so this is shocking. This guy was doing a slow motion recording in his house, and he didn't think anything of it. And then when he rewatched the video, this is why he uploaded it, it's capturing the flicker from the LED lights above him. Most people don't know LED lights flicker on average between 100 and 120 times per second. So he has this slowed way down, and what that does to your eyeballs, to your retinas, to your circadian rhythm, causes many things. You want to replace these with incandescents or with halogens, anything but LEDs or CFLs. It's not good lighting.
So they're nuking us with LED lighting. That's kind of like the health hack for this episode. And it's very important to get morning light into your eyes from like sunrise to 10 a.m. It sets your circadian rhythm for the whole day. And then once that happens, your body can run like hormone-wise really efficiently. And if you don't get that, you're in LEDs or you're inside or you're looking at your blue screen on your phone, your circadian rhythm gets messed up and then your whole life can kind of spiral. It's so bad for you.
Yeah.
Just in general.
Yeah,
so
I don't like that.
Isn't that scary?
Natural light is important. Having a house with some natural light. And should we be candle maxing?
candle maxing. And then that's what the old light bulbs used to mirror, the incandescence.
Yeah.
That is the same light on the spectrum as like a fire, which is very good for you. To light max, I moved my bed a little bit and I opened my curtains. So in the morning at like 7 something, the light lands right on my face. And I basically wake up like 10 minutes before my alarm every day and I'm ready to go. And I get light right in my face in the morning. That morning light is so important. Just go outside and just put it on your face and your skin and your back. It's so good for you.
That's smart.
Okay, next. See, it's smart.
Your disgusting back. You're out there like put your back out there.
And the neighbors are like,
who's this disgusting
what
guy?
animal is that? All right, our last clip of housekeeping. We're going late today, guys. We're almost into cringe.
Whatever. We're wrapping it up.
We're extra 10 minutes. This last clip of...
Actually, every time you say that, I look the next morning and it's just the same length as every episode.
Yeah, because
you kind of speed through it and then you always go, we're going late today, and it's the same. It's 1 hour 15.
But I cut stuff out of other stuff.
I know. That's
And
what I'm saying.
Today we're actually running. This is like a 47-minute housekeeping.
All right.
All right, our last clip of housekeeping is this. I'm not going to intro it. I'm not going to comment on it after. I just want to let you guys know what's going on.
I know the government has been sending frequencies to your brain. Your iPhone camera is watching you. Interesting. But listen closely. Did you know that the lizard people believe in a thing called karmic retribution? Meaning they have to tell us what they're planning to do before they do it. I promise I'm not a fed, but follow me. You see, the lizard people give us tiny details on their plans through media, music, art, and food. The idea is that we subconsciously notice these hints. Therefore, we allow these things to happen. Pretty crazy how they manipulate us how. I'll give you some insight on how to actually combat this. By being aware of every little piece of symbolism within everything you consume, you will start to notice the hidden messages. And by noticing, you can actually not consent to the plans they tell you. And if only 1% of the population rejects these plans, cool things happen, like our ability to fight back just surges through our veins. You see, it doesn't matter whether you believe in this idea or not, because this is literally how they keep us enslaved. We actually allow our slavery to happen, even though we have the power to take control, by actively choosing to not participate in what they feed us, and putting your attention towards meditation and spiritual growth. You are actively doing 50% of what it takes to fight back, by rejecting these plans.
Pretty good.
I thought you weren't going to comment.
Go in the sunlight, too. That helps. Slavery was a choice. Kanye West.
All right.
All right. Well, that's the end of housekeeping. We're moving on to Cringe of the Week. All right. Our first clip of Cringe is Cynthia Nixon, the Sex and the City slut.
Yeah, she was the lesbian. Oh, no, she wasn't.
She was sleeping with everybody.
Yeah. She was the least appealing of the 4 ladies in Sex and the City, though. That much I know.
What was that line? She was sleeping with everyone. Babs, little Mo with the gimpy leg, Cliff from Home Alone.
I don't know. Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, Cynthia Nixon gave a speech.
You know that was fake? That was made up? They made that up for the Home Alone movie?
What do you mean?
That whole, like, there wasn't a movie that actually, they made that for
Oh,
Home
yeah,
Alone.
I did know that. It's very cool. Cynthia Nixon gave a speech at a protest talking about trans kids, and she kind of gives a little too much away. Look how many trans kids she knows.
Most importantly, I am here today as the mother of a proud trans man. I am here today as the aunt of a proud trans man. My best friend's kid is trans, and my kid's best friend is trans.
That's a lot of trans. That's a lot of trans shit. It makes you wonder what kind of witchcraft operation she's running.
Yeah, who's the nucleus? It's like one circle around her and then tentacles flowing everywhere. It's like, huh. And she's a lesbian.
Yeah.
With a wife. And yeah, seems to be everywhere she goes, she's flipping them.
She's flipping them. And I have zero, if you have my Fleckus bubble, I have 0 trans people attached to me.
Me too.
Which is interesting.
And if I did, I'd have one, I'd cut them off, you know?
There's really, I don't have room for it in my life.
Yeah.
And we're always told that, you know, trans people need all this stuff because if we discourage them or tell them they're not really a woman when they're acting like a woman, that they'll off themselves. But then it makes you wonder, why do trans people care what us irredeemable fascists think? I thought we were like pieces of shit Nazis. Why, you guys care that much about what we think and telling you your identity's real, and if we don't tell you it's real, you're going to kill yourself? That doesn't seem right.
You should have the confidence to know that we're stupid. You're smart. You're the one who knows what you're up to. Cynthia Nixon also goes on to say, and they're all young. And it's like, yeah, this was a phase, a trend that started like 9.5 years ago, max.
So bad. And here's a picture of her and her trans son.
Her and her son.
Jeez.
Little buddy.
And then Trump obviously made it illegal to do surgeries on people under 19, and now they're suing.
Yeah, over a dozen Democratic states' attorneys, attorney generals sue President Trump after he banned sex change surgeries for anyone under 19. Some of the states, it's the who's who of leftist states: California, Colorado, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, New Jersey, New York, Nevada, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Wisconsin. Wisconsin, that's an odd man out. That went red.
That's weird.
So,
and then
going against that state's attorney's going against the will of the people at this point.
Oh, big time. And then Attorney General Letitia James, who we know from the impeachment trials, she tells hospitals to continue sex change procedures for minors despite Trump's executive order.
Yeah, she's so smart. She thinks state law supersedes federal.
So I think you may have just put yourself in a position to get arrested.
I would hope.
Or at least heavily investigated and sued or something. And that's obviously what they did to us a million times over nothing. Seems like we kind of have her there. All right, let's move on to our next story. This guy had a panic attack at the DMV.
So I just had a panic attack while I called the DMV to figure out if I could change my gender marker from X back to the assigned gender at birth. And this is the most invalidating thing I've ever had to do. But I want to be able to get a passport. And I want to be able to flee this country if I need to. So I'm going to do this, even though it's invalidating to me and who I am. I've tried to make this video like 5 times, and I can't get through it without just emotions.
Brother, you ate some undercooked pork over the last few years, and you got a bad parasite that's telling you to do all this trans shit.
You got bugs and worms in you, brother. And what is this? If he's crying so much, this is a girl pretending to be a guy who got all juiced up on testosterone, grew a beard?
I think it's a guy who's going to a girl.
A guy who just likes a little pink and stuff? I don't know. I don't even know. So good for you, brother. But yeah, to get that passport and pretend you're going to leave the country. Isn't this D-Day? Like, didn't the nuke already go off? Trump got elected and he's ripping these executive orders and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, there's always this, if things get bad enough, I will.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what you said was bad enough, right?
And this is this guy's biggest issue. It's like, brother, you should have been a fireman or something. You should like know how to smoke brisket on a Traeger. You could be a Philadelphia Eagles fan.
You could be the center.
You do a micro brew in your garage, make your own beer or something.
Put too much hops in it.
Like now you're doing this. You've just completely hijacked your own destiny. All right, let's get to our next story. The new anti-Semitism ad that's playing at the Super Bowl on Sunday.
I hate you because we're from different neighborhoods.
I hate you because you look different.
I hate you because I don't understand you.
I hate you because people I know hate you.
I hate you because I think you hate me.
Because I need someone to blame.
Because you talk different.
Because you act different.
Because you're just different.
The reasons for hate are as stupid as they sound.
Man, I hate that things are so bad that we have to do a commercial about it.
Me too.
I hate you because you pretend to be white and then you write articles about how white people are racist and society's biggest problems. There is good news, though. It says end racism in the end zone.
Yeah.
They're getting rid of that for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're NFL to remove end racism messaging in end zone ahead of Super Bowl, according to sources. But they're replacing it with choose love instead of end racism.
Choose love. Has to be something gay.
And then that ad is so weird. It's like, I hate you because of all these stupid reasons. And it's like, are there any legitimate reasons to hate a certain group?
Are there any? Yeah, exactly.
Like gypsies or something? Like somebody who really ruined an area? Somalis in Minnesota? Is there any reason I could hate a group?
And then once
it's like, just because you look different and because I don't really know what's going on. It's like, well, what if I have all the data?
Yeah.
What if I really have data and I can show a marked downtrend in public trust and crime rates and something?
Disproportional stats.
Yeah. Can I have any grievances at all? Or does Robert Kraft's, Robert Kraft Foundation to Combat Anti-Semitism, is there any good reason?
Yeah, you can't hate anybody, and then that actually allows people to continue manipulating and stealing and corrupting. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Well, that's the end of Cringe of the Week.
You sure you don't want to play this little twink?
All right, let it play.
Hey, so I just went in a military building. These bitches just told me to go in this building, and they were like, okay, get your dental stuff done, and the thing opens at 8, and so I showed up like half an hour early, and this scary ass drill sergeant looking guy, he came up to me and he was like, "Go get a fucking haircut! Don't come back in this fucking building until you get a haircut!" I was like, okay, yes sir. He grabbed this part of my uniform and was like, "When you're in this uniform, you need to abide by the standards in AR 670-1. And I was like, yes sir. He was like, "Go get a haircut right now and don't come back in this building until you get a haircut." I was like, okay. So I am on my way to get a haircut because that was scary as fuck. So if I look like a fucking army rat when I get, guys, I look like I'm about to go to fucking war.
He ate some undercooked pork too.
What are you doing in the military?
He's trying to get a boob job or something.
He's trying to get his college paid for or something. You're going to have to find another way. Just take out a loan, man. There's no, like, can we get Pete Hegseth in here, please? Yeah. This is not military preparedness. This is demoralizing. And then also in terms of like, you know, remember don't ask, don't tell? That was kind of one of the old school policies. Now it's post on social media how gay you are.
Yeah.
This is demoralizing, and I hope people in the DOD take note of people like this and kind of put a, what do you call it? Like a gag order. So at least
you might like if you put a gag order on him.
Not, yeah, in a gimp suit gag order. But this is like bulletin board material for other countries, and I don't know. Someone contact Pete Hegseth.
I'm assuming USAID is paying him per social media post.
Yeah, something.
There is hope, though. There is a good chance that is junior ROTC. So I'm hoping for that.
Okay.
All right. Well, don't get too down and too depressed. It's going to get a little worse. We're moving on to urban decay. Our first clip of urban, we had to censor a little bit because it's a person getting shot in the head. But look at this guy. He's just sitting in San Francisco on his phone, smoking a cigarette. And look what happens when someone just rolls up on him. And then, for no reason, just shoots him a bunch of times in the face and neck. And then he goes on. That guy ended up surviving.
Good for him.
Good for him. And then the other guy boarded himself up and then got into a shootout with the police and they killed him.
Do we know what it was over? This guy was a weed shop owner.
Weed
right?
shop owner. It seems like it was random. So that's that.
So things might be, what's the lesson here? Things might be going well, but the cities are still shithole and it's taking time to get some of these people back to locked up and not released, and Soros DAs are still in control. And
head on a swivel in San Francisco at all times.
Yeah.
You see a sketchy guy on a bike rolling up, you can probably make a move. All right, next is a guy who does a prank on these Girl Scouts.
Hey, nigga. What y'all selling real quick? What y'all got?
Girl Scout cookies.
Ain't nobody want no fucking Girl Scout cookies. Nobody want that shit. Fuck all that shit, man.
Stop.
I don't want none of that. Ain't nobody want that shit.
You need to
Ain't nobody want no nasty ass cookies. What are you talking about? Ain't nobody want that.
Somebody please call 911. Take a picture of this gentleman.
It's a prank. Just $50. I'm gonna buy all those cookies. How much cookies does $50 get me?
10.
10? They're 5 each, right?
Yes.
Oh, so it was a prank.
Yeah. You can act like a piece of shit because it was a prank.
And you went up to a bunch of young girls and you intimidated them and you smashed some cookies and you threw it on the ground and there's all ladies around. But it was a prank and you gave him $50.
All good. All good. The cop pulls his gun and goes, "This is a prank. Get down on the ground. This is a prank." I don't know, man. You're going to fuck with girls and their moms outside of a grocery store where they already really don't want to be. And you see the black hand reach out to slap the Girl Scout cookies and you go, Tom Brady, Snoop Dogg, what about this one?
Yeah.
Can I do something?
Can't hate him.
No.
Can't hate anybody.
Can't hate the content of his character either.
Exactly. Makes you mad. Well, let's get to our next clip, which makes me mad. It's Jasmine Crockett. We have 2 Jasmine Crockett clips. She is a congresswoman.
Yeah, from Texas.
From Texas. And listen to this first clip.
I mean, this is very simple. We right now have a white supremacist that is sitting in the White House. He is backed up by other white supremacists. And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have
80% of the violence in this country country is done by white supremacists.
That's crazy.
So she doesn't know stats, but she does know division. You like that?
Yeah.
And we do have some stats here.
This is like when you say 80% of the military is trans, except she's serious.
I was doing a bit.
Yeah, he was joking. She's serious.
She seems to believe it. And then we do have some stats here. Can you read some of those?
U.S. homicide rate by race. Come on, guys. We've done this. You already know the drill. Blacks killed by blacks, 61.3. Is this percent? Yeah. Blacks killed by whites, 0.98.
Yeah.
And then, black or African-American commit 60+% of the share of known murders.
And don't forget, a lot of times people are mischaracterized as white. Like Hispanics are often characterized as whites. So those numbers are probably even worse. And then we have the homicide rate, the firearm homicide rate.
Yeah, per 100,000 persons, black 27, white all the way down to 2. And who do white supremacists target? That would be black people and Jewish people, right?
Thought so.
So I haven't heard about one of those in maybe 4 years.
But there's a meme that sums it up. I'm ignorant and wrong, and I'm going to be loud about it too.
That really sums up Jasmine Crockett.
And we have another clip from her here. Can you let that one play?
That's what's happening right now. I am tired of the white tears. Listen, if you are competent, you are not concerned. When I walk into Congress every single day, you know why I don't feel a way and why you can't make me doubt who I am? Is because I know that I had to work 10 times as hard as they did just to get into the seat. When you look and you compare me to Marjorie Taylor Greene or me to Lauren Boebert, there is no comparison.
So she needed to work 10 times harder to get into that seat, which makes you wonder if you applied for a job or to a college with the exact grades you had as Jasmine Crockett, a black woman, or if you applied to that same job or same college as James Crockett, a white man, who would have an easier time getting in?
I think we all know the answer. USAID would probably push her over the edge.
It's not even close. It's the opposite. You have it completely wrong opposite.
It's like playing golf with a 25 handicap against a scratch golfer. And you go, all right.
I got him.
I had to work 10 times as hard.
And which makes us ask the age-old question, what were Jasmine Crockett's SAT scores? And I tweeted this. I'm not being mean. I'm truly wondering. I would love to know her SAT scores and how that compares to the rest of Congress. I bet she's in the bottom 10th percentile.
I got 100.
Yeah.
That's better than all you white folks crying and committing crimes. I got 100 on my SAT.
I got 840.
Yeah, and I got 100 on my IQ test.
Well, don't get too down or too depressed. We're moving on to uplifting gold. All right, our first clip of uplifting gold is these English hunting dogs working.
Black labs.
Those nice looking labs. And they love being out there. You know?
Ja. Here, stay there. Luna.
Wow, they like to go get it and they bring it back. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's a Labrador Retriever.
That's what they like to do. Yeah. Well, we kind of have like a dog thing going in this uplifting.
Okay.
Next,
that didn't impress me that much. That's a very basic. I like the aristocratic British, outfits, but
it's good culture.
Yeah.
It's good culture.
That's a dime a dozen, right?
Not as much as it used to be, probably.
Okay.
That's probably getting rarer and rarer, and soon that won't exist, and the labs will forget what they used to do.
Okay.
Next is a lamb that was abandoned in the field, and the dog helps him overnight. He protected him overnight.
So the owner comes out, finds the giant dog who stayed next to the lamb.
And he helps him. That lamb would be eaten by a fox or something.
Yeah.
Or a bird.
Good. That's good friendly instincts.
And he helps. A bird would come and just eat that thing while it was alive, you know?
Yeah.
All right, next is this stork-type animal in a reserve, and then the mom died, so this guy in an outfit needs to teach the bird how to drink water. So he's kind of showing him, and he's touching the water, and he leans back to swallow it. Touch the water, lean back to swallow, and he learned.
There you go.
And he can drink now. Isn't that good?
Yeah.
He helps. And then here's another dog who's another water dog. And watch this. He's happy about it. They love he doesn't know that he's a retriever dog, but then he loves bringing back the bird toys. So it's in his bones, you know? It's in his DNA.
It's been bred into him.
Yeah.
It's a breed.
It's a
dog,
breed.
so it's been bred into him.
I bet it's genetic.
A little bit. Selective breeding. Selective breeding.
All right, next, Nancy Mace said tranny to make everyone mad.
The gentlelady has used a phrase that is considered a slur in the LGBTQ community and the transgender community. And let me please finish without interruption. And
Tranny. I don't really care. You want penises in women's bathrooms, and I'm not going to have it.
Okay.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Nancy Mace.
I saw something weird where maybe Nancy Mace has done a 180 and she used to support some trans stuff.
I can see it.
So we'll investigate. But she's going hard now, so, you know.
And remember, a long time ago, it was advertised as like, these people just want to do what they want and be themselves and be left alone. You know, it used to be like, oh, yeah, if you're over 18, you can do whatever you want. Like the attitude of like almost libertarianism.
Yeah.
But now it's obviously a lot different. So good 180.
You're sex criminals and you're ruining women's sports, and we've had enough.
You got parasites and bugs in you.
There's bugs in you.
All right, next, the Florida Panthers, 2024 Stanley Cup champions, went to go visit Trump, and they all wore Trump outfits.
And congratulations to Anton. Where is he?
Everyone with a red tie and a blue or black suit.
That's cool.
Yeah.
They like him.
Interesting that the Florida Panthers won.
Yeah?
Not great for hockey, I don't think.
Is that good? I don't know anything about that.
Florida team, you know?
That's a good point.
Up north, you got to be somewhere where the lakes actually freeze, is my opinion.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's
but
move
nothing
on.
against them.
That's the end of Uplifting Gold. Nothing against them. We're moving on to our shout-outs. We have some great shout-outs. First, we have a picture that was drawn for us by Willow, who's 5 years old and a show watcher. She drew us and then the silly guy that was singing. That's Oliver Cho in the middle.
Wow.
It's so good. We love that. I'm going to actually get that framed, and I'm going to put it on my wall because I love that picture so much.
There you go.
Thank you, Willow. We love you. We're really happy you like the show. All right, next, Garrett Bradford Music. At Garrett Bradford Music, he is a show watcher, and he has a new song out, which is linked in the description. So if you guys are looking for country music that you like by people who watch the show and love the show, add it to your Spotify. I commented, so good, and then he wrote, thanks, my man. Trying to get a duet with Oliver Cho. If you could help me with that, we can make it happen. Maybe a country-themed song for the show. Rob Smith has expressed interest in producing it. So clearly a show watcher, and it's good music. Give it a listen, please.
Do you think about a life we almost had? How good it was till it went bad. If love like that's worth more than a try or two, 'cause I do.
Very cool. Very nice. At Garrett Bradford Music, Garrett, Bradford Music on Instagram and Spotify. Go stream his stuff. That's the end of Uplifting Gold. We have some shout outs because it is the end of the episode. And we have a lot of people who send us shout outs now every single day. Everyone's got a birthday.
It's almost like everyone has one a year.
Well, I'm going to show you something later that might blow your mind and maybe crack the matrix. But first, happy birthday to Donnie, who turns 27 on February 5th. He's a big bonus lander. He doesn't usually watch Uplifting Gold, but he's going to today, hopefully, to see the shout out.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to Micah, who introduced Bob to the show. They're both in Canada, and his birthday was February 6th. Happy birthday, Micah. Thank you, Bob, for watching and taking the recommendation, and thank you, Micah, for showing him.
Happy birthday. Apologies for the trade war.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Congrats.
No hard feelings.
Yeah, we're even. Congrats to Paloma and Ray. They are longtime watchers who have a sweet girl on the way. She is due in April. And they're huge supporters. They're bonus landers and merch wearers, which is greatly appreciated.
What was the shout out there?
Just thank you and congrats on the baby coming in April.
Baby coming in April. That's what we're up to now.
Hey, you send it to me, I say it. Happy birthday to Jeff. Happy birthday to Jeff, a.k.a. Jaffafa, who turns 43 today, February 7th. He's a bonus lander for his birthday.
Happy birthday, Jeff.
Here's where it gets interesting. Okay. Jeff turns 43 today, February 7th, right?
Yeah.
He's getting bonus lander for his birthday. That's great.
Good.
And then next we have happy birthday to Shane, who turns 43 today on February 7th.
Okay, so 2 people one day, 4 years, 5 years apart?
No, they both turned 43.
Oh, I thought you said 47 for the first one.
February 7th for both of them, and they both turned 43 on February 7th. I didn't know that was possible, that 2 people could be born on the same day like that. And
It is possible.
The same age?
Yeah, you know, me and Murray, born on the same day.
And same age?
Yeah, same age. Yeah.
I thought everyone just got one day.
No.
Okay.
No.
I thought everyone just got their own day.
You know, me and Murray were born in the same hospital?
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Our friend Murray from college, born in the same hospital on the same day, went to the same college, played the same football team.
Yeah, big show watcher, too.
We love Murray. We love Murray. And then, yeah, so that's not weird to you that their people are the same age on the same birthday,
All
I
right,
guess.
let's move on. Let's move on.
And then
please.
Shane has his 4th kid on the way. And I think his oldest kid is like about to graduate high school. And then he has a baby on the way.
All right, come on.
That's pretty cool.
I get it.
He's getting young again.
All right.
That's the end of the episode. Thank you guys for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. LucasTalks.com for bonus land. If you guys want to watch some bonus land over the weekend, create your schedule, sign up, help us support the show. If you're watching at this point, please sign up. And we will see you on Tuesday.
I've tried to make this video like 5 times and I can't get through it without just emotions.